Hello, Jennifer, and welcome to the Success Redefined series. How are you doing today?
Hey, Jess, I'm doing really, really well. I was joking with you earlier before camera. I got my hair done, so I love it, but there's part of me that still feels I look like Cleo from Set It Off. But that's okay because Queen Latifah was a boss, so is
That
a
was
boss.
a great movie.
It is
Like,
a great movie.
if you're going to be anyone, there you go.
Hey, right?
So I'm so excited for people to hear all about you, what you do, and really the whole intention of this series is to be able to see just how different businesses are structured and really under this core definition of what success is for you and really understanding that there is this ebb and flow that happens throughout it, right? It's not just this straight line, not at all. So as we get started, let's go with what do you do? What do you do?
Oh, that's important.
Yep.
So, I am a fitness and lifestyle expert and a business mentor. So, I'm the CEO of Figured Out Fitness. And on one side of the house, we work with clients, especially professional women over 30 who are super crazy busy, who want to improve their fitness or work towards fat loss. We work with them in a coaching program called 1000 Strong Women. And then on the business side of the house, I really enjoy helping newly certified and brand new online health and fitness coaches start their businesses. So we have there's a scale to six program where we do that. And so, yeah, so we have two parts of our business that are really amazing, but they're all in the fitness area and centered around helping people get better.
Going back to when you started, like what got you into this industry specifically?
Oh, it was highly personal. So I rewind rewind several years. And I was going through divorce and it wasn't fun, as divorce is never fun. And as a single parent, and I was generally pretty healthy prior to that. I had a really sweet home gym and all this other stuff. But when I got divorced, all that stuff went away. I moved into a, somewhat okay apartment, and I had no home gym, and a real difficult personal situation. I'm trying to be there for my daughter. I also at work got promoted, which sounds amazing, right? Like, oh, yay. But it was just such another layer of stress because got promoted and there was a super huge project. I wasn't sleeping well. I joke around, but it's truly truth. I was surviving on Diet Dr. Pepper and like peanut butter out of the jar. I was not taking care of myself, and it all started to add up. I was so worried about performing at work. I was worried about taking care of my daughter. I was worried about money. I was worried about, legal stuff with this divorce. And one day I just felt really terrible. I took myself to the doctor and they diagnosed me with high blood pressure. And I was 31 and previously super healthy. So it was such a huge wake up call to me because I was doing all these things and literally killing myself just to, please and help everyone else. And at the end of the day, I said, you know what, if I can't take care of myself, I will never be there for my daughter or for my job, which, whatever, but my daughter, all this other stuff. So that's when I started, interestingly enough, the shared connection that we have, I started working out with this particular program. And that's really what reintroduced me, I should say, back into health and wellness, and really understanding like what a huge help it was, because it not only helped me physically, it helped me emotionally, it helped me find a great community of people. And I loved it so much. I started earning certifications and working with other people. And then a few years later, me and my now husband opened up a brick and mortar fitness studio. And then after that, when we realized that that was crazy, it was just really difficult to do as a parent and as a newlywed, I was just like, I really still want to do this, but I have to find a way to leverage my time. And I noticed that some people were doing like this online stuff. And I was like, what's this? I was still working full time too. So I was working at least 40 hours a week. But I'm like, okay, if so and so can do this, I can try to do this. And that's how I stumbled into online coaching. Made a ton of mistakes, but I learned so much from my business coaches, and my business started to grow. And then I started working with one of my business coaches as a business coach. And that's kind of how I got into both the health and wellness side and the business side. So I owe a lot of my fitness business success to really great and caring business coaches. And I want to be that person for other people too. And then on the fitness side, I know what it's like to be a busy mother, working really hard, trying to put it all together, and needing a way to make this nutrition, fitness, and taking care of yourself really accessible. And so that's what we help our clients do. I think fitness as an industry shows a lot of like youth and beauty and all of that other stuff, but there's many of us who are over the 30, 35-year mark who have really completely different lifestyles than what they preach. I think a lot of like the Shape magazines and the Oxygens meaning very well, but they put out these workouts, they put out these things, assuming that you have to dedicate this, portion of your time into your health and wellness. And that's great when you have that time. But those of us who are a little bit older, A, we have far less time, and B, we prioritize things that are different. Yes, we want to have nice glutes, but honestly, we just don't want to take blood pressure medication. We don't want our backs to hurt when we get up. And that happens a lot earlier than what most people think. So you don't have to be in your 60s. It happens when you're 30, or when you picked up your baby 1,700 times and you have knee pain. Like, we try to be very realistic about what our clients can achieve. And we help them figure out how to achieve the fitness or fat loss in a way that makes sense to them. And that's what we're really, really good at. We deal with things like metabolism and, and hormones and sleep and those types of things. And we're not no pain, no gain. Let's work on our butts. I mean, yeah, we work on butts. Our clients have nice butts. But I think that's how we're different on that fitness side. And on the business side, I'm different because I am all about systems. Because one of the things that I've noticed from fitness coaches, and probably because our clients demand this, is everything out there is all about getting clients or sales or something like that. But that's only like such a small part of your business. Your administration and how you manage your money, how you take care of your clients, honestly, is the best way to get more clients. And that whole process, that's what I like to help people with. And things do not have to be complex. You can have simple systems to make everything run. So there are a lot of great business coaches out there. Everybody's got their methods, but I am very deeply rooted in systems, because by implementing systems in my own business, it has freed up such a tremendous amount of time without me sacrificing the client experience. A lot of the things, particularly after I got the client, were things that I put in place afterwards, which, that took experience, because I just like most people, I started off as a solopreneur, solo coach, and I worked individually with clients. And you start hearing the same questions or the same issues over and over again. So I'm like, instead of addressing this individually with each person, what can I put in place so that they don't have that issue anymore? Or I know about when in the program they're going to ask this question, and I'll have a resource ready for them to go. And so that's how I started getting a lot of my, what I call my onboarding, program delivery, offboarding systems, which help my program run like butter.
Mm-hmm. And that is something that I think is just amazing seeing in your business, where are we at like 1 to 2 hours maybe a week that you have to put
Maybe.
in into that business?
Yeah, I mean, and it ebbs and flows, but most of that comes around the social media and some of the promotion, or if I'm doing an interview. But yeah, it's almost weird. And I know we chatted about this before. Sometimes you almost feel guilty because I'm like, I'm not doing anything. But right now I have co-coaches that help me coach the individual clients. We have great systems in place for them. We have systems and resources that are automated that go to the clients. So the clients are still getting great individual care, attention, touch points. We're still providing education and checking in and celebration, but I am hands off. And from the second even from when they watch my master class and decide to sign up, all of that is automated. You're dropped into our training software. And so maybe one of my touch points is always just to make sure that it actually gets to the coach. Like, I'm all about checks and balances.
Mhm.
And then they're having great experiences. So, there's part of me that's like, oh, I miss having the individual interaction with the clients. But the other part of me knows that they're getting a far better experience because they have someone who's 100% dedicated to them instead of dedicated to them and trying to do social media and trying to run the business and. So it's been great. I mean, it's been eye-opening. It's been very freeing, and I have a lot more personal time available, which is strange and lovely at the same time.
Mhm. And the way this is structured is that someone would come in and purchase. So let's say they go to an evergreen webinar, they're going to purchase this access. Once they go in, they are added to the entire system, and they are matched with a coach, which means that you are paying out of
Yeah,
your revenue, right? Out of your profits to have this coach help to give them that transformation versus you being the one on the front end, correct?
absolutely. Now, here's the other kicker, and I'm telling all my secrets now. So whoever's watching this, at least credit me when you steal this idea. The other thing that with experience that I learned was I had client archetypes, meaning that there were clients who needed certain things, and I found myself programming very similar things over and over and over again. So I created master programs. And so when people come in, they basically start with the meat of a master program, and then their coaches can always tweak it. So it cuts down on the coach's training time, and that way the coach can spend most of their time on the things that our clients really need one-on-one help with: nutrition, behavior, habits, those types of things. So it's not cookie cutter, but it is knowing my clients so well that I know exactly what they need. I mean, within, reason, but then things can be tweaked. There's so much, and this might be an unpopular opinion, but I don't care because I built my business on being very true to who I am. A lot of people are like, oh, cookie cutter is bad, individual is good. Except when we are certified as personal trainers, we know that there are 6 core exercises. There are things that we should all be doing in our program. We should be doing mobility work. We should be doing flexibility training. So my thing is, we should be doing all that stuff anyway. And yes, our individual clients have different needs and we can adjust for that. But why reinvent the wheel every single time? And that has saved our company hours and hours and hours. And our clients are still getting really great results and still have an individualized experience. So, trade secrets, I mean, think of ways that you can simplify, look at the data, look at your experience, look to see what your clients are saying, and then just look for opportunities to save time and improvement without compromising their results.
Mhm. And what I keep hearing over and over again is that a lot of this was built from hearing what's repetitive in your business. So, what are things that I keep doing over and over again? Is there a system for that? Or can I create a system for that? Because as much as we like to think like everything's individual, the human experience is pretty similar like across the board. There's a lot of things where like you're going to ask certain questions about this thing. How do I know? Because 18 people have already asked me. Like, because that's just experience, right? And as you
Right.
continue to work with people, and this is why I'm very big in working with clients first, and then you go scalable and what that looks like, because by the time you get into your scalable offer, or you're bringing in coaches or people that are going to help support, like your co coaches, well, then now you have this entire system and this framework developed already, and all they're doing in or coming in to do is the customization, which is much easier when you have this foundation versus everybody starting from scratch all the time, which just I find so many people are burning themselves out on that because it's
Mm.
too much to keep doing.
Yeah, and it also helps ensure quality. I mean, I know what I want every single one of my programs to have. And so I create a situation where they will have all of those things. So, yes, the automation is great. And I love that part. I'm very hands off. But there's a part of me that's always like, how do I serve this person, or this is the person that messaged me, what do they need? And then as you hear it over and over, you can start to customize and in I call it the Harley Davidson model, the mass customization. Everybody's getting a Harley, but they can do, things in their own way.
So we're talking a lot about, success redefined. And this is why I wanted to have these interviews, because I know there's going to be somebody listening that's like, wait, I can have other coaches that do it, which, are going to be able to take my framework and put it out there as my IP. But there's other people that are going to go, I could never imagine doing that, right? Like, I can't do it. Both are valid.
Right.
However, how do we determine which one is going to be best for you? Like, is this a fear thing, or is it just misalignment, which are two totally different camps? So this brings me to, what would you say your definition of freedom-driven success is?
Oh, great question. And just backing up, I think, yeah, I have co-coaches and that's what works for me because
Yep.
that aligns with my definition. But I also have colleagues and friends who the joy of their life is the one-on-one with people. And so that's how they set up their business. So freedom-driven success is really about knowing yourself and knowing the things that make you happy, knowing the things that make you anxious. Don't do those things. Do the things that make you happy, and creating your business and life and goals around it. I think one of the things that you and I talked about not too long ago was I was always this person who was told like more, better, 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 achieve the highest level in this, get the best grades here. And so when I started my business, everyone's like, have $1 million business. And I was like, I need $1 million business. But in really thinking about what I wanted out of my life, I didn't need $1 million business. I needed a business that supported my lifestyle, which meant time and money. And that was far less than $1 million. I mean, maybe not a lot less, but it was less than $1 million. And so I could build a business that maybe was $500,000 and be perfectly happy and still have all of the things that I wanted in life. So for me, freedom driven success is really about knowing yourself, knowing what's important and structuring your business around that. Because, what your definition of what's right and what feels good in your life can be completely different than what's good and what feels good in someone else's life. So be careful of all the books and the gurus and the people who tell you what you should do. And it's great information to kind of sift through. But then at the end of the day, take alone time and really decide what's important to you. It was important to me to have weekly dates with my daughter, who in a couple years will be going to college. So I wanted something where on Fridays I was off and I didn't work. Which meant that I had to cut back on some client work because there's no way I was going to be able to run the business and do client work and hang out with my daughter. I wanted to go to my games. So I don't want to go to, I want to go to her games. So I don't do things after a certain time of day because if there could be activities or games or conferences, I'm not available. And before I thought, well, I had to accommodate the schedules of my clients, but guess what? If they want to work with me, we will find a different time, maybe lunchtime, maybe morning, whatever. But that time is mine. So having my time and money and that where I can do the things that are so important to my life, because that's why I left my other job. I wanted flexibility. I wanted time. I wanted to travel. And so as long as I have the money and the time and the schedule to do that, I am successful, whatever number that is, whatever method I'm using.
Yes. And what would you say are some decisions that you made to align with this in business? Like those decisions that may not have been easy at the time, but they had to be made if you really wanted to honor that definition.
Yeah. So one was I had to fire some clients. And that was tough. And they're great people. So it's not like they're horrible people, but I set up my business in a certain way now where, we have a very structured process. And some of my clients who had been with me for a really long time, who were used to a less structured process, weren't feeling this new stuff. And so we parted ways and it was okay because I said, you know what? I really appreciate the feedback and what you're telling me, but this is how I need to move forward. I closed certain things. So I used to think I had to be everywhere. I have to have LinkedIn. I have to have this. I have that. I have to be on TV. And I was doing like TV appearances and podcasts and articles. And then I really looked at the information. First of all, I was exhausted because getting ready for a TV appearance takes a lot of work. I mean, not just,
Yeah.
pretty package, but preparation so you don't sound like an idiot, and pre-promoting and post-promoting. And I looked at the data and I looked to see what actually got me the best bang for the buck and what I enjoyed doing. And I cut back on the other activities. So I'm like, I'm good. I don't need to do TV. I can back off on the digital publications. I love podcasts and interviews. I'm going to continue to do that. So it's really about being very selective about what made the most sense and creating structure where there may not have been structure and telling people no. And yeah, just kind of shutting down things that weren't really serving me from a business or a time perspective or both. So yeah, it's really a lot of little things that add up to be big things. And you look around and you're like, oh, I'm not booked solid from 8 to 7 every day. And it's like, is this okay? Like, am I still making money? Am I good? And when it turns out, yeah, I'm fine. Everything's good. It's growing. It's thriving, and I feel good. I'm not exhausted. I don't dread opening up my laptop. These are very important things.
Absolutely. And as you continue in your business, this is a constant evolution, right? So, as you lean more into your definition of freedom driven success, what are you working on currently that you're excited about that is helping to embody that even more?
Wow, there's so many things actually. I had a great weekend. I was all rested, which means my brain then started going on turbo speed. One of the biggest things I'm excited about is growing the business mentorship side of my business. I get so much love of helping other people help their clients in a very positive way. And we always say fitness is saturated, but so what? It needs to be. There's so many people who need health and wellness services. I don't think we can ever have enough, but I want to make sure that I'm helping those providers provide the service in an ethical way and in a way where they're not burnt out, because when they're in a good place, they're going to be able to really help and change people's lives. So I'm really, really excited about the systems in place to start working with new business owners. I have not launched my Scale to Six program yet. That's coming very soon. So I'm excited about that launch. But then on the flip side, I think one of the things that I've rediscovered is how much I still love my fitness clients, and there are going to be some new and upcoming things for my fitness clients too, or for my potential clients in my fitness community. A lot of people are like trying to bury 2020 and 2021 in the trash, but those were such eye-opening learning years for me. And I'm really excited to apply what I've learned in both parts of my business.
Yes, that excitement that comes, and you have the time to actually explore those ideas, right? If you want to revamp certain programs and trainings and things like that, you have to have the time to be able to do that. So, that and also just the mental bandwidth. So, when you have a business that works with your definition, you can do that and you could be lit up about it versus, I can't believe we have to redo this thing, right? Like, this is awful.
Well, yeah, what's allowed my brain to even go that way is the fact that I can rest. I'm not working on the weekends. I'm not working in the evening. I spend time with my family. I get to recharge. And that's when I'm really creative. And that's when I wake up in the middle of the night with like what I consider brilliant ideas. And I'll start writing. And, I always joke around like, what's that movie? It's a Beautiful Mind. And this is all the stuff on the board. I'm a little nutty like that, but it works for me. But it only works like that when I come from a place of rest and relaxation and recharge. And that's why it's so important to be fiercely protective of my definition of freedom driven success and be aligned that way, because that's how I'm really successful, by slowing down. Go figure.
And can we have a little, before we wrap up, conversation about the fact that it's not always easy to do that?
Oh,
So when
no.
it's like, oh, I'm gonna go get rest, right? Like, oh, I just woke up because I had so much rest and it was so easy. Like
No.
what it actually looks like to be able to get yourself in that spot, whether it's business is super busy, life could be chaotic, right? There could be so many things going on. Is it always easy for you to just take time for yourself or put yourself first or rest or any of that?
It is not easy at all. And, I hope I never paint the picture that's like, no problem, because we have aging parents, we have kids who are, young adults, and teenagers. We have dogs, and that's a whole nother story that we just adopted from the Humane Society, and they're a handful. And, we have health issues. And, I'll be really candid that one of the things that I've been dealing with over the last few months has been depression. And I had to go through getting on medication and talking to people. And it certainly wasn't easy. In fact, life felt like it was just horrible. But the one thing that always keeps me going is a faith in what I'm doing. So I am a Christian. I do believe in God, and I do believe that, you know, there I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. So by being true to myself, I feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And so therefore things are going to align to help me get there. So it always helps me have this really great calm in the middle of chaos. My life is very chaotic, especially outside my business. I'm a mom and stepmom to 4 kids. My husband works and he's a vet. We have other family nearby. We've lost parents. We have parents who are sick and who are in different states. And it's just a lot. It's been quite a bit, plus the pandemic, plus all the stuff that's happening. And financially, things are not always roses. And at the end of the day, I always say, you know what? God has gotten me this far. God's taken care of me. And, it doesn't really help for me to be like, the sky is falling and and I just have to go back to settle down and be calm and be still. And it helps. And then guess what? Every single time, there's a solution, there's something that happens. And so because I'm years old and I've had that happen plenty of times, based on my experience, I know that something bad is going to happen. It will. And I can either run around and be sad and cry and upset. And not to say that you can't do those things, but I'm not going to live in that place because I know a solution is coming. So yeah, there are going to be really tough times, especially as an entrepreneur. Please do not get into this business and think it's going to be easy, because it's going to test you in every possible way you can think of, and about 10 ways you haven't even thought about yet. But at the end of the day, you're doing this, it's important, you're here for a reason, there's a greater good happening from you being in this space. So just sit there, be patient, and keep forging through.
I can't drop this mic because it's on a on a stand, but you know I did that. I could not agree more. And that is the thing. It is a choice that we all make. And, we have high highs, we have low lows, we have in between, right? That it's life. And that comes under that whole lens. And my whole belief, it's like, look, you need a business that supports your life. And this means both in the good times where you're like, I can't believe this is happening, this is so amazing, and the times that are not good at all, but you need to be able to comfortably have that space or that ability to step away, or, whatever it is that you need. All of that is going to happen. We can't predict that, but we can actually set up our business to help support both sides, of the equation. So you being able to do that, it's like, yeah, it may look different than somebody else's. And that's okay, because it works for you and allows you to support your family and to go out and play with these dogs. Are so cute. Make sure you follow her on social. You can see them, which leads us to
following than me.
Leads us to our wrap up. So let us know where we can go find you, check out all of the goods, say hi, all of that.
Hi. No. Well, if you are looking to improve your fitness or work on your fat loss goals, you can find me on Instagram at The Real Jennifer Nagel. And if you are an aspiring online fitness coach, health and wellness coach, and ready to rev up your business and get it started, then find me on Instagram at Figured Out Fitness.
Awesome. We are going to link all of that in the comment below, just to make it easy for you to go ahead and click and access all of the goods, whether you're on either side. And Jennifer, thank you so much for coming in, for sharing, and really just being you. You are incredible. And I so appreciate your time today.
Thank you, Jess. You're my favorite. Don't tell anybody else. I had a good time, and thank you for including me in this great series.